Hey footy fans, welcome to the Point of Difference Rugby League podcast. I'm your host Dave, and today on the couch with me, I've got a Kiwi legend, Samoan great, also played for the USA Tomahawks. He's played 10 years in the Super League. It's none other than the amazing Esene Faimalo. Welcome to the couch, brother. Talofa lava. How you doing?
Good, thank you. Thank you for having me.
Oh, nah, man. Thank you so much for giving up your time and coming on the podcast. Before we turn the clock back on your career, mate, what has the great Esene Faimalo been up to these days?
At the moment, I'm a youth worker, working with a lot of the young ones who are getting into a bit of trouble and just need a bit of guidance here and there. So I'm doing well.
Oh, that's good, man. We need someone to look out for our young ones.
Yeah, we do.
Everyone needs a bit of guidance, and I can't think of a better person, some people to look up to. So let's one clock back, mate. We're going back to the 80s. Where did it all start? Were you always into rugby league? Was it your thing as a kid, or where did it all start?
I think it all started with my dad. It was his. Ever since he was come to New Zealand, he always said, if I got here when I was younger, I would have made the All Blacks.
Right.
I would have made the Kiwis. So he pretty much pushed us into rugby league, and that's how we all got started. And myself and my brothers, and and started like that way.
Nice. So was it always rugby league, or was there other sports you were into? Like a lot of people play multiple sports as kids. Like what was it like for you?
He got us into two sports, boxing and rugby league.
Boxing,
and
right.
We started pretty young. We started at about age of 10, 11, 12. And as we got older, got to about 16, he said to us, right, you need to make a decision as which sport you're going to follow.
Right.
So, and we excelled in both.
Yep. So
we could have done, any. And I always thought, there's 12 other players. I'm on my own boxing. I thought, this is the only way to go. I'm going to go with 12 other players. So.
More people to blame when it goes wrong. I love it. Okay. So you chose rugby league.
Yeah.
And so you lived in New Zealand. You're in Christchurch at the time.
Yep.
So who did you play for in your junior days?
The first club is Woolston, was my hometown.
Right.
So I grew up and I played there till about 12, I think it was.
Yep.
And then there was no other teams, so I had to move clubs and ended up playing at Linwood, which was quite a good club. A lot of young ones coming through, quite a few young Kiwis coming through.
Right.
At the time, was myself in the first year 19s, and Brent Todd was in the second year 19s.
Oh, Brent Todd.
So, there's like the caliber of players.
Yeah. We
had a lot of Kiwis playing for Linwood at the time. So, yeah, it was good.
Mean. Okay. So I also heard in 1986 you represented Western Samoa at the Pacific Cup. So you're quite a young fella at this point.
Yeah.
How did that come about?
Well, there was like a phone call, and they says trying to find more Samoan boys further down south, and they asked us, would you be interested to come up to Auckland for a trial? Mm-hmm. And myself and a few others all decided, let's go. So we ended up going up for the trial and then waiting for the team to be named, and luckily I was named in the actual Samoan team to tour for the Pacific Cup, first ever Pacific Cup.
Wow. So who did you play against?
Oh, we played against... we had Tonga in the semi-final. We had the New Zealand Maoris. There was a Cook Island team. There was everything on the Pacific. There was loads of teams.
Wow. All
based in the Cook Islands. It was an awesome tournament.
That's amazing. So that's your first test cap, and you're like a teenager.
Well, yeah.
That's amazing. That's unbelievable. That's so awesome. Okay, so you've already played international football. What happened in terms of getting like a first grade career? Because you went to Balmain Tigers in 88 or 89, is that right?
Yeah, 88,
As like part of a New Zealand rookie scheme.
Yeah.
Something like that?
Yeah, so there was a rookie scheme, and there was quite a few players involved in that. And at the time, it was myself and Jared McCracken.
Oh, legend.
So, there's a couple of clubs we could have gone to, and my dad actually chose the club. He said, "You go to Balmain." I was thinking Gold Coast. But at the time, so I thought, let's go. It was a bit of a challenge going to Balmain.
And they were hot back then.
Yeah, they had a pretty hot team at the time. Yeah, especially their forward pack.
I know, Sirenen.
Yeah, all of those big boys.
Benny Elias.
Yeah, you could name it into the whole Australian forward pack almost.
Gary Jack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So and from then it was like, okay, let's get on.
Yeah.
So, and then ended up coming back, and ended up going to, I ended up playing at Sydenham and then went to Upper Hutt from there.
Okay, so didn't manage to crack first grade. Was it just the team was just too damn strong, full of international Australian reps?
Well, it was full of international reps, but at the time, I thought myself that I should have been able to get a spot in there.
Yep.
But, at the time, my coach was Graham Murray.
Right, I mean, big name.
Big name.
Been
Reserve
around.
grade. And I used to say to Muzza, what do I have to do to get into this first team?
Yep.
He says, I don't think he likes me, the coach. And he goes, well, yeah, he's got his favourite, so, it's going to be hard to push. So, And I never actually made the first team.
No injuries paved the way for you or anything? Nah, unlucky. But it was a solid team.
Solid.
Back-to-back grand finalists, 88, 89.
You can't fault that.
No.
So, and, the backline they had was awesome as well. Gary Freeman was there as well, and he was going, you just got to keep going. So,
yeah.
But no, never made it. So I thought I'll try England.
Right.
So I was fortunate enough to make the New Zealand team.
Yes.
To tour the UK, and then had a few knock on the doors there to come play for a few clubs.
Right.
And because I'd come to Australia and then gone straight on the tour, some of the clubs say stay on, and I was like, Widnes wanted to stay on, and I says no, I'm got to go home and see my family.
Right. So we've had a crack at Australia. You've then still not played a first grade match, and you've gone on to play for the Kiwis.
Yeah.
So how the hell does that happen? Because that's like such a rare feat, and you wouldn't see it now in the modern age. I think the last person I've seen was Krishnan Inu, off the top of my head. I think he was reserve grade for Parramatta, and he got called up for the Kiwis as an absolute unknown. So how did that even happen?
Good question. I don't know. I don't know. Sometimes I surprise myself. I've always been brought up by my dad to go hard, train hard, and head down and see where it takes you. And, you just never know where the door opens. So luckily for me, I made the New Zealand team, went over there, door not opened again, and ended up playing professionally over there. So
wow. Okay, so who was your first test against, and what was it like receiving that black jersey? That's like the pinnacle of sport, is representing a nation. What were the feelings like, and how old were you at the time as well?
Good question. I think it was probably about 21, maybe.
Wow. Oh my goodness, 21 years old. So you get your black jersey. Do you remember who it was against?
Yeah, it was against Papua New Guinea, my first test.
Wow.
And funnily enough, my cousin sent me the actual game yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And I was like, I haven't seen this since I was back in that day.
I'm going to need that footage for this video. So what do you actually remember about the match? Do you remember anything at all, like stepping on the field for the first time?
It's just a blur.
Did you come off the bench?
I can't even remember.
Don't even remember?
No, I think I did come off the bench because the team, I was the young boy in the team. And I remember the team, when I made the team, I thought to myself, whoa.
Yeah.
These are guys that I used to just watch on the tally.
And we're talking your Mark Grahams, Kurt Sorensens,
all those.
Yep.
All those names, those big names that you would just think, wow.
Wow. And
I remember watching these guys at our local Woolston Workingmen's when they were training there, and I looked and I thought, wow, they're huge. And then a couple of years later, I'm looking and going, I'm playing against these guys and thinking, okay, I'm doing all right. So, and to make the team, I just thought, this is just amazing.
Yep.
So, but it was a big thing for me.
Yeah, I bet it would be, young boy, and with all the men, but you're not such a small lad yourself, I actually watched some footage of you playing, and you're not small at all. But I was actually quite surprised, like your leg speed, like you had these actually kind of little pin legs, you could go quite hard, Okay, so next question. You're of Samoan heritage. You were born here in New Zealand?
Born in New Zealand.
You were. And so which nation was the one you really wanted to represent? Obviously being a Kiwi, but I know Samoan heritage is so deep in your family.
Big time. No, playing for New Zealand was the first thing.
Yes.
Because at the time, there was no real Samoan teams until I made the Pacific Cup. I think we were the first Pacific Samoan team to be put together.
Oh, wow.
So
that's an amazing honour.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah.
And, I look back in 86 and think, well, that's a long time ago. And, it's fortunate to make that team.
Wow.
So, but it was always to make the Kiwis. My dad was always pushing us to set goals and go from there. So my first goal was always to make the Canterbury team and then the South Island team and progress from there.
Right. Okay. So you're in the same test side as Mark Graham, and there's a question that's people want to know. I mean, you know the guy, you played with the guy, you trained with the guy. Was he as hard off the field as he was on the field? What was Mark Graham like as a person?
He was a real gentleman.
Really?
Real nice guy. Nicest guy I'll ever meet. Talk to you. Like, he was actually my roomie.
Oh, amazing.
my first thing is I walked into, back in those days, everybody used to smoke and all that.
Yep.
And, you know, I walked into a room, there he is sitting there smoking. I was thinking, oh, okay. But you know, it's just one of those things, and like everybody was smoking and all this, and I was thinking, oh, I'm not a smoker, but hey, okay. But but awesome guy, not really nice guy. Fitness wise, he was always up there, he's always encouraging you, keep going and all this and that. But yeah, real good roomie for me.
Nice.
Yeah.
And so was he like quite a hard trainer? Was he, you know, like he had something about him. Everyone he's like a revered New Zealand rugby league player. Like anyone says who's like one of your favourite New Zealand players from all time, people go, boom, Mark Graham.
Yeah.
You know, it's someone everyone knows and respects.
Oh yeah, like, you know, when you look at his physique, I used to sit there and go, someone chisel me like that or what? I was like, you know, the guy's, you know, toned and fit and everything.
Smokes a pack a day.
Yeah, but like, you know, that was the way it was back in those days.
It was, yeah.
So, but no, awesome. No, he was a hard trainer, really nice guy.
Yeah.
Couldn't fold him as a roomie.
Was he good for a spray on the field?
Yeah, he was good. He was always picked you up and keep going.
Yep. Okay, cool. Okay, so speaking of training, what was it like training the team? Because I know there's a pretty good story about you, about making the Kiwi squad.
Yeah.
Now, explain to the listeners what the training was like and what were the standards that were required to make the side.
At the time, they selected the Kiwi team to tour the UK, and I'd taken a knock on my knee, and I'd already had the injury on that knee before. And we were told that we all needed to pass the fitness test.
Right.
And I was thinking to myself, well, I'm going to struggle here. So, you know, we started off this with the 12-minute run, I think it was. And you had to do so many laps. And I was struggling. And the team started off, and I was thinking, I'm not going to catch these boys. And then as I was going and doing the laps, I started catching up. I was thinking, what's going on here? And then we all just ended up jogging around together as a team, and I was like, oh yeah, I like this. And then, you know, one of the boys says, we got selected as the team, we're going as a team.
Oh, how good is that for camaraderie?
And I thought, oh, I like you guys.
So you're still quite a young fella at this point, eh?
Yeah.
You know, oh, well, what was the coach's reaction?
Tank was just fine. He was just like, right, you know, this is it. This is the team that we're going with it.
All right. That's not so bad. You got off pretty lightly.
Yeah, we did.
I don't think your team could do that now.
Oh, no, not nowadays.
No way. Oh, that's brilliant. Okay, so you said you had a bit of a knee injury. Did you have actually any major injuries during your career? That hampered things? I
smashed my ligaments up in my knee, and back in the days, I went and seen the surgeon, and he said, yeah, you need a full knee construction, so you'll be out for maybe a year or so. And I was thinking to myself, and I went home and told my dad, and my dad was like, nah. And I was like, nah. And, you know, if anybody knows the Samoan traditional Samoan for fall, he was like, no, go get the oil. And I was like, oh, here we go. And then, he worked on my knee for about 3-4 weeks. I was back jogging, I was back running. And, you know, I went to see the specialist, and he went, your dad's doing all right there. Mm-hmm. And honestly, the training that he put me through was just a killer. Yeah. So, you know, I look back and think, you wouldn't do that nowadays.
No, you wouldn't. So you actually got through that injury, quick time.
Yeah, quick
back
time.
On the footy field. We're talking weeks, months?
Yeah, I'm talking about a month or two.
As opposed to 12?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. I love that. So how influential was your dad in your childhood and your career in terms of footy?
Pretty big. He's one of these ones that, look, as kids, gave us a choice, be good at school or have a choice of playing sports, and we all chose sports.
Good call.
And so from that day on, he just pushed us. Like as a kid, he was a runner as well. He used to play for our local Woolston Rugby League team.
Right.
We always used to go watch him all the time, and he used to send us on these block runs, and you have a little block, a middle block, and a long block.
Right.
And he used to send us out on this block, and he always used to say, you should be able to do this in 10 minutes. And to this day, none of us has beat his record. Every year when we were playing professional sports, like, we got ourselves fit, and we'd always try, right, this time, let's go. Ready, set, go. Boom. I'm pretty sure you went round on a bike.
We know you went round on a bike.
So, but yeah, his methods of training was just purely hard. He's like all about fitness, all about fitness. He always drilled in our heads, you may have all the skills and all that, but if you haven't got the fitness, you're not going to go all the way.
Well, it's so true. We've seen that with numerous sides over the years. And I hate to pick on the Warriors, but, in their earlier years, all the ball skills in the world, like the flick passes, everything. But did they ever make the finals?
Yeah, beautiful to watch.
Amazing to watch, but premierships aren't built on flashy skills, unfortunately.
No, and that's all what he drilled into us. Even when I was playing overseas, you'd still ring us up. You're still getting out the rope, still working on the bag. That was always his thing. Keep pushing fitness, and speed.
You're so lucky to have that, actually.
Yeah.
But did you find it hard having your dad as like a hard coach as well?
It wasn't hard. Once you got used to training and at the level that you needed to train at, it got easier because you just become routine to it. You just knew, right, I need to go out, hit the roads. I need to go hit the bag, hit the ropes. I need to do speed work. I was never one for weights. I was always got to hit the roads. Yeah. Because it was all about fitness for me.
Right.
I carry enough weight as it is.
Yes, well, that's true. But I guess you always knew it was coming from a really good place.
Oh, big time.
Even if it was tough on you?
Yeah. He had a lot of love, and that's all he wanted us to do, to succeed. And, it was all love.
Yep. And you've got 3 other brothers and a sister, and they all play sport as well?
They did. And, like, what got us through is, like, a lot of people, like, training on your own, it's not easy. We were fortunate. I was fortunate enough that I had 3 other brothers to train with, and my sister used to run as well when she was younger, but she gave it up. But having all 4 of us, we all had to push each other. So my biggest person I used to look up to when I was playing was my older brother. Right. I used to sit there and watch him and think, wow, I want to be like him, because he could score tries from anywhere, and I used to be like, I need to lose some weight. I can't keep up. But he was my, goal. And as we got older, I got better and fitter as well. And, we all succeeded in where we wanted to go. So, but it was all about fitness and speed.
And was that right through like your school years as well? Go to school, come home, train. Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. So we had 2 sports, like I said, boxing and rugby league. So we come on a Monday, Wednesday, Friday, that was boxing. Yeah. So you had to go boxing. And then Tuesday, Thursday was league training, play on a Saturday, and then fight on a Sunday. So we had no days free.
Wow.
So you either got fit or you got knocked out or you were at the back.
Wow. Well, it certainly proved to be the winning combination, to go all the way and represent New Zealand. I think that's just so awesome. So we want to dig a little more into your junior footy, because we haven't really covered that yet. Yeah. So you started out in Christchurch playing for Addington, I believe, way back. Wilston at the beginning, but then as a major club. Yeah. As a bigger club.
So my first premier team was Addington, and I went there with my older brother first year, playing at Prems. It was great. I think we made the final. Well, I can't remember. Don't quote me on that. But it was a quick season, and then I ended up at Sydenham. And played with some of the boys I used to play with back when I was playing at Linwood. Yeah. And then I went from there. I think I went from there to Balmain. Right. And then that's where I come back and ended up playing at Upper Hutt. Yes. And playing with Joe, because when I come back from Balmain, my dad was like, "You need to take your brother with you." And I was thinking, I just signed with this club. And so anyway, cut a long story short, I rang the club and I says, I'm going to bring my little brother with me. And they said to me, how good is he? And he says, my dad thinks he's better than me, but we'll soon see. But he was a good player. Yep. My dad just wanted me to bring him out of his shell a bit more and bring him out into the game a lot more. So, he came out of the shell quite a lot when we went to Upper Hutt. So, he did well.
So was it just the one season up at Upper Hutt?
One season up at Hutt, and then from there, that's when I went to the UK.
Yes.
And funny enough, when I come back, I ended up having one season with Eastern.
Yeah.
And it was good. It was a good year, and I come back and played with Joe as well. But we had some top players playing for us at the time. And that's when I seen a lot of the young players coming through, the likes of Terry Hermanson.
Wow.
And I remember playing against Linwood, and there was a young boy there, and they all go, watch this young buck, he's coming through, he's going to be a good boy. And it was Quinton Pongia.
Oh, rest in peace, Quinton.
Yeah,
oh,
so, you know.
What a player.
Yeah, and,
like,
you
wow.
know, top players coming through, and it was great. And then I ended up, and that was my last New Zealand club I played for.
So, wow, you saw some, like, young guys who, you know, for me, growing up, obviously a different generation, but me seeing them as superstars,
Yeah.
you got to see them coming through as juniors.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Yeah, and also for Upper Hutt, when I was at Upper Hutt, I also had Steve Cooney, Sid Eru. They were all young bucks at Upper Hutt too, and I remember seeing them at I think there were 17s and 19s coming through. Yeah, so a whole lot of potential. And I also took a young player with me to Widnes. Was another kid called Ben Lear, and you know he seen a little bit of what it was like to play professional as well. So,
Yes.
But yeah, it's good. Always good to see young ones come through.
So you finished up with Eastern,
Yep.
and then you went back over to the UK, and there was a few occasions where playing for like Widnes, you got to play against a national side.
Yeah. Back in those days, the local clubs actually played against the international teams, and we were lucky to play against Australia, and we were like, oh, geez. And
Wow.
it was a good lineup of Australian, the team that we played against, because we had Mel Meninga playing at the same time. And I remember looking thinking, okay, here we go again. So,
Yeah. And you marked up against Glenn Lazarus.
yeah,
The
he's
brick
a big
with
unit.
eyes.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, yeah, it was it's very interesting.
Yeah, and how did you guys go? Did you get close?
I think so. I can't remember. I think I took a knock on. I don't remember. No, I honestly don't remember.
Yeah, well, that was back in the days when, the touring sides did play the provincial sides. And it reminds me of a piece of history that actually happened in New Zealand when Auckland in 1977 played Australia, France and Great Britain and beat them all within a space of 20 days.
I can imagine that, because back in those days, Auckland ruled everything.
Yes.
You know what I mean? They had players coming out of the ears, it was just like internationals coming through. They just had numbers, whereas, you looked down further south where we were,
Yeah.
and even further down, and like the West Coast, we were struggling for players. So, but we've all caught up now.
Yeah, that's right.
So,
did you actually play? Was there much of a New Zealand provincial competition like Canterbury, Auckland, Waikato? Like, did you play in a competition like that?
yeah, we did. It was. We used to play. It used to be a big one, always against Wellington and Auckland, and they used to be top clashes. I remember the first time I played in Auckland in Carlaw Park, and I come running out, and someone said to me, "Are you Samoan?" And I went, "Yeah." And I went, "Oh, I didn't realise they had Samoans down in Christchurch."
Too cold.
And I was thinking, "Oh, there's a lot of us, But cutting the long story short, no, we used to have top clashes. As a schoolboy, we always had tournaments against each other, like Auckland, Wellington, all the top provincials, and they used to pick like the junior, like the best of the tournament. Mm-hmm. And that's coming through the grades. I used to play against the likes of James Goulding, who's another ex-Kiwi, Tony Kemp, Kevin Ira, and all those going through the... So when we actually got to the stage where we were trialling for the Kiwis, we actually knew each other.
Yeah.
So, we got to... From there, the structure was good, and that's how we got a good base of decent players.
I guess, like my earlier question, like how you went from provincial player to not having played first grade into the Kiwis, I guess that's all part of that system, where you're kind of on the map, playing that provincial.
So everybody
level.
pretty much knows who's coming through, and who's at the pretty much going to be there or not so,
right,
or what you need to work on,
right.
So, but back that was the days when you had to keep going.
Yeah, those were the days. It was a very different era to now, isn't it? I genuinely wish New Zealand could build up a provincial competition of, at least the big cities again, where you've got your Christchurch, your Auckland, like even like the Waikato region, and actually have a top level comp that we could all get behind the side. It's just sort of not really there anymore.
The level of the games in New Zealand at the moment has really dropped. And I get it, because now that the Warriors have been introduced to the NRL, it opens the door for all the clubs to come and get our best players, pretty much.
Yeah.
And that's what they've been doing. The schoolboys, they all want to play for NRL. And I get it, and they all go. And just like myself, I went on the rookie scheme and tried to make a name for myself in that, and which is really taken all our players away from us. So, which is hard.
So it's a positive in one sense. We've got more Kiwis playing in the Australian systems, which is only good for New Zealand when it comes to Test football eventually. Hence why we're pretty competitive now. Pacific Nation champions, just saying. And but on the downside, like local grassroots league is struggling. Struggling big time. So we need to fix that. I mean, that's what Phil Gould was supposed to come over here and do until COVID hit. When he was signed with the Warriors, his job was to sort out all the pathways, and unfortunately, COVID hit and he had to go back to Australia.
No, it's not. We're just losing all our young ones, but it's just fair enough.
Okay, so let's go to 1990. You signed with Widnes.
Yeah.
So you said earlier you wanted to go Gold Coast. That didn't quite come about.
No.
But was there any other opportunities at all?
Over in Australia?
Yeah.
Well, I had a few chats with a few clubs, but after touring the UK, I thought to myself, I like the way because I went to Balmain and the training is pretty
hard.
And I thought, I'm going to try the UK and see what that's like, and I ended up staying there. So yeah.
Okay, so why Widnes? How did you get to Widnes? And was that the dream originally, to play professional football, or was it just what came your way?
It just came my way, Like I never thought this is going to be my career, playing rugby league. I just played it because I loved it.
Yep.
And it's something that I always enjoy. And when Widnes rung us up, because I was actually, after the tour, I come back, and then they rung me back again and said, "Are you still interested?" And I thought, yeah. So I ended up jumping on, and then went from there, and then I signed a 1-year deal, and I had a bit of an issue with New Zealand at the time, because they still had my papers and they wouldn't let me go.
Oh no!
So at the time, I had to come back and have a chat with New Zealand, and then they ended up releasing us. And then that's why I signed for Widnes for 4 years, because the first year had to be cut. So
okay. So you practically missed most of that season.
Yeah. So
okay. So you're still only you're very early 20s.
Yeah.
You get a 4-year deal straight off the bat.
Yeah.
That's not a bad way to start your career.
No, I can't moan about that.
That's fantastic. And where were Widnes at in terms of competitiveness in the league at the time?
They were at the top. I think they were in the top 4.
So they rung you.
Yeah.
To come play for them.
And when I looked at the team, I was fortunate enough because Andy Courier was at Balmain.
Yes.
So we got on well with him.
He was the centre, wasn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I knew him from then, and he said to us, "Are you coming now?" And I went, "I'm coming."
Yeah.
And I said, "I don't know if it's this cold weather, but yeah, I'm coming." But it was funny because, I expected Widnes to be a big city because, the 4th in the league, a big team in the UK and all that. But it's only a little town.
Right.
But the supporters over there are just fanatics.
Crazy.
They're awesome.
Awesome. Did you get any chance for the great Esene Faimalo from the crowd?
Yeah. So when I got over there, they had trouble pronouncing my name.
Yeah.
And so I ended up, they nicknamed me Flymo.
Much easier.
And I was thinking, so I said to some of the supporters, "Why did you call me Flymo?" And they went, "Because you mow people down. Yeah. So you're the lawnmower. So you're close to Faimalo, so Flymo."
That's cool.
So that's what I got.
That's a great nickname.
So yeah, but no, honestly, when you run on the field and you hear they chanted Flymo, Flymo, that's what it's like. Honestly, it's just like unbelievable.
Wow. So you became a bit of a cult hero from what I hear at Widnes.
Oh, just a little one.
A little one. Oh, mate, it sounds like the club absolutely loved you. And so what was Widnes like as a club in terms of the management, the players, how everything was structured? Was it all quite running smoothly, like a well-run oiled machine?
It was a family club, eh?
Well, that's good.
And
suit you.
Yeah, it was a family club. But the only issue is they probably needed more people managerial-wise to support them through the years, and I think that's why they're where they're at the moment. So
Second division, aren't they?
Yeah, so which is pretty sad to see a club that's gone that far up to go down to where they are now.
Yes.
So, but yeah, awesome team. They had a lot of players, family players that grew up in the town come through.
Yeah.
Which was the structure of the whole.
That's how clubs are meant to work.
Yeah.
With those pathways to get those juniors through without having to buy in too many imports, although we do need a few. We always need a few good imports from other clubs. So before we talk about you going to Leeds, what were your favourite moments at Widnes?
I remember favourite moments, going over there and listening. I played my first game ever in the semi-final against St Helens for Wembley, and we only just lost, and seeing the players on the floor crying, and I sat there and I thought, geez, this is big.
It's big.
This is big when players are on the floor crying. We're just this far away from going to a final.
Yeah.
So I never actually felt it before, but when I was fortunate enough to go with Widnes to Wembley in '93, driving down Wembley Way, it's just like a sea of red and white because we play on Wigan, and black and white on this side. It's just unbelievable. And then when you walk into the stadium, the feeling and the noise is just incredible.
And English crowds are unreal. Like, we have no idea in New Zealand.
No.
We have no idea. New Zealand rugby union supporters are, oh, well done, very good, but English fans, something else. Oh, that's incredible. Okay, so 111 games for Widnes. It's time to move on. Like, you go to Leeds. How did that happen? Was it time to move on? Did anything happen? Was it just time for a fresh start, or
time for a fresh start? And the club were having a few issues financially and all that. So the coach that I had at Widnes, he actually went to Leeds.
Right.
So when he went to Leeds, he knocked on the door and he said, "Are you free? Are you interested in coming?" And I said, "Yeah." So saw the opportunity and went.
And Leeds, they've always been a pretty successful club.
Yeah.
At that time, whereabouts were they? So we're talking 1995, 96, somewhere around there.
So they probably would have been sitting in the top 6. So they were doing pretty well, and they were just building their team to come through as well. And at the time, there was quite a few Kiwis at the time going through there.
Yeah.
So when I went there was myself, George Mann, Kevin Iro, Craig Innes.
Wow, I know all those
Gary
names.
Mercer.
Wow.
I think Carl Hall was there at the same time. Tony Kemp. That's what I mean. There was quite a lot of...
Only a Kiwi coach and Warriors coach.
Yeah. So, there's quite a lot of players there at the same time, all there. So, it was good.
Wow, not to mention later on in life, Ali Lautiti.
Yeah, Ali.
Only King Ali. Wow. Yeah. So what was your best result as a season with Leeds? Did you guys make the playoffs? Did you get close to a grand final?
We went to the playoffs. I can't remember if we won now. That's pretty bad memory. There's too many knocks. But we made the finals, and I also went to Wembley with Leeds as well. We also lost to Wigan as well.
Oh, Wigan. Yeah. Oh, the bogey team.
The bogey team.
Oh, everyone has a bogey team. Okay, so we've had a few years at Leeds, and I think you played 54 games off memory. Then you went to Salford Red Devils.
Yeah.
So is this another coach calling you over, or is this just a...
Oh, it's time to move.
Time to move.
Yeah. Dean Bell was the new coach.
Right.
And Hugh McGann, and they had different views on where they wanted to go. So they said to us, time to part company. And so I ended up moving to Salford with Andrew Gregory.
Right.
So, and then he was keen to have us, and I was quite happy because it was just down the road. So,
well, that's nice and simple then. So was there much success at Salford at the time? Like, was it a good time for the club to be there? Was it a rough time?
It was a good time because they've only just been promoted from the first division.
Okay.
So first year, and then at the same time, I think we were going through the change of when the two NRLs were playing the Super League.
Right. Okay.
So we were travelling over, and I think we've had a game against the Cowboys.
That was the World Club Challenge.
Yeah.
You had Bradford
Adelaide,
Bulls.
There was a few. So
the Warriors were in that.
Yeah.
The Hunter Mariners made the final. The Brisbane Broncos were in that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing.
So, yeah, we ended up touring all over there and then coming back to the UK. And, no, I enjoyed it.
Wow.
So, but we ended up playing. It was quite funny because at the time, my brother, I think he was playing at Oldham. Mm-hmm. And I was at Salford or Leeds at the time. Sorry, I'm changing clubs now. But we ended up playing each other in the semi-final.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so it must have been when I was at Leeds. So that was a big game for us too. And it was a big headlines, the two Faimalo playing each other, who's going to go to Wembley.
And this is like National League news type of thing.
Yeah. So
that's amazing.
Yeah, it was good. It was a bit of a ding-dong, but yeah.
I mean, it's not that often you get two brothers. You know, it happens occasionally, but I instantly think the Johns boys, I think the Travojevic brothers in the NRL. It's not, the Stewart brothers, it's not that many, the Iros. Yeah.
Got the road parties.
And the road parties, yes. Yeah. But were they at the same time?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Oh, there was quite a few, wasn't there?
Yeah.
And then Jerome later on.
Yeah.
Yeah, legend.
Because you had Tia and Eva at the same.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Tia Party. Yeah, legend. Wow. Okay, so we finish up with Salford, and then it's time to hang up the boots.
Yeah,
But then something happened.
My brother rang me up after a year, and he goes, "What are you up to?" And I went, "What do you mean what I'm up to?" He says, "Do you fancy putting your boots back on?" And I was like, "Not really, but what's it up?" He goes, "I've just signed us up to play for America because our grandparents are from that way." And I was like, "From American Samoa?" And I said to him, "Are you sure?" And he says, "No, we're in." So I thought he was joking. Anyway, I got these airfares through the post, and I got a phone call saying we're off, and we ended up playing a couple of test matches for America.
That's unbelievable. Like, how many people could say they represented 3 top-level nations? But it wasn't such top-level football, was it?
No.
What was it actually like, playing for USA? What was the standard like when you got there?
When we got there, the boys had a long way to go. And the test matches that we played against was against England.
Oh my God.
And we played against Ireland. So the Ireland game wasn't too bad.
Yeah.
We did get beat. But then we played against England, which is the first team England squad. And they beat us something like 100 and something nil.
Oh, that's got to hurt.
And it was painful. But,
my goodness.
First time ever for America, the boys, well, it was a struggle for them, but they loved it. They were buzzing.
That's amazing.
They had a chance to play against international team.
How did the American squad even come about? Like, no one links USA with rugby league. It's all gridiron NFL.
Yeah, it is.
How did the two come together? Like, is there a local comp? Was there just some big rich guy who put it all together? How did it happen?
They started off with a local comp, I think, in New York. I think they had a team in New York and a few states around there, like Florida. They had Jacksonville, and they had a little couple of games. And I think there was a guy named Dave Newey, and he from Australia, and he tried to get it up and running, and he succeeded in trying to get all these teams going, and that's how they come about getting the American team.
That's an amazing.
And he put it out there saying who's American, who's available, and I was like, I can't believe you did that.
It's unreal. Who would have thought? Imagine if America actually invested in rugby league. Like, I can see the whole point of trying to get rugby league popular in America. Imagine the damage they could do to World Rugby League if they actually just put some effort into it.
I know, because amazing. In America they've got athletes.
Yeah.
They're fast, they're strong, and but if they understood the game, that's the difference.
Yeah.
Is understanding the game. It's just like when they play rugby. They're almost there.
Almost.
But once they understand the game, how the game's played, they'll be there.
Well, they actually did come a long way, because I think it was year 2000 and I want to say 8 or 9, somewhere around there. The USA Tomahawks played Australia, and they were actually beating them at half time.
Yeah,
unbelievable. Yeah. Australia come back in the second half. They actually didn't disgrace themselves. But Matthew Peterson, who's known as Sideshow Bob, he was a Parramatta and Titan, and he represented USA because of his heritage. And he was like their star player because he played NRL. Yeah. And they actually were leading Australia, proper Australia, at halftime. It's a true story. I watched the game. It's unbelievable. You'd never read about it.
No, it's amazing.
Yeah.
So
I actually think they've won a game in a World Cup as well. In more recent times. But and then they had the Toronto Wolves come into the Super League with Sonny Bill Williams.
Yeah.
And then COVID unbelievably destroyed it. They even
shut it all down.
They got up into Super League proper. They finally got their marquee guy, and it's actually such a shame because, you know, Toronto were that team that was actually making some waves in the USA, and I don't know where it's at now.
Neither do I. You know, they seem to have just fell off the face of the earth.
Gone. I think COVID destroyed the whole thing. Yeah, it was a shame because it was actually nice seeing Sonny Bill Williams playing rugby league again because, you know, I'm a rugby league man through and through. Seeing Sonny Bill in the All Blacks was great.
Yeah.
But seeing him in the NRL and the Kiwis was way better. You know? He was
it's his game though, isn't it?
It is.
Yeah.
The offloads, everything. Yeah. He's a freak, honestly. I'll never forget when he started in the NRL at the Bulldogs and he won a premiership. This is like second season in 2004. Unreal. Yeah. Just such a talent. Okay, so we've played for 3 Test Nations. You've played all over the Super League, but you had one last crack at Widnes.
I did.
So what happened there?
So what happened was David Hume was the coach, and our kids go to the same school. And he said to us, "Are you interested in coming back?" And I went, "Nah, mate, I've wrecked my shoulder." And he was like that going, "Oh, I need someone to go forward for us." And I was like that going, "Oh, I'll put my boots on if you put yours." He goes, "Deal." I was like, "Oh, come on." So I ended up going back, having a run. And I think I played another 6 or 8 games.
Right.
And I thought, nah, that's it. My shoulder's done.
It's no good.
It's wrecked. So they finished me for the whole of my career there.
So that's the end of the career.
Yeah.
No regrets in your career.
Oh no.
No regrets not playing in the Australian comp.
Probably a little bit, but you know, I played in reserve grade, and the season there, and I learnt a lot, and that's what helped me. Muzzle was a great coach. You know, he was awesome, pushing us through and all that. But no regrets. You know, it is what it is.
It is, yeah.
You know,
I'm a not a look back person. I think it's just stay the course and whatever comes along. It sounds like you've had an amazing career. I just wish I was young to watch you play in those days when you were running out for New Zealand for the first time. I was 4, you know.
Okay.
Yeah. But no, for me, I got into rugby league when I was about 12 through mainly the Brisbane Broncos with a friend at school who's mad on Brisbane. My dad was from Brisbane. And there was a bit of a connection there, so I actually followed the Broncos. It was my first side.
Oh, right.
And here's me sitting here in a Dolphins jersey.
I know, I thought you got the wrong jersey on there, fella.
It's good stuff. Okay, so a couple of last questions. Which team did you support growing up?
Which team? Good question. I suppose it would have been Canberra.
Oh, they were the team.
Yeah.
So we're talking... the Mal Meninga days, the Ken Nagasi sort of days, Ivan Henjak, yeah.
I'm useless with names, mate. I remember just watching them, and like I loved the Tigers because they had so many players coming through,
superstars,
you know.
Yeah.
And then to actually go over there, when my dad said you're going for Balmain, I was like, have you seen that team?
Yeah, they're only on top of the ladder.
Yeah, exactly.
Ellery Hanley.
Yeah.
Did you play with Ellery Hanley?
I did. That's
amazing.
He's awesome.
Yeah.
Ellery's one of these guys who doesn't cut corners. You know, when you're training, he runs right to the corners and all the way and around. I'm one that cuts the corners.
Samoan way.
Yeah. So I was right. So the first time I was training at Leeds, like everybody runs to the outside, and I was thinking, "Geez, what are they all doing?" And I was running in the middle of the field, and everybody's like, "Nah, mate, you got to run on that outside." And I went, "What do you want outside?" Anyway, they said Ellery goes to the corners. I was like, "Oh, jeez, I can't run to the corners." But he was a fitness
freak.
Yeah.
That's awesome. What were your coaches like? Did you ever get in trouble with the coaches for maybe lack of training, or because I get the feeling here you weren't training wasn't your thing. It was about playing.
Yeah. I love playing. I love the game. I love it all. But when it comes to training, I'm not the greatest trainer. So we had a coach, Phil Larder, who came and took over Widnes when we were changing roles of coaches and that. And he pulled myself and Mosi Kaloto, another Kiwi boy.
Yes.
And he said to us, "I've been watching you two train." And I was like, "Okay." He says, "You two are always at the back." And I went, "Oh, it's because we're pushing everybody along, keeping them, Anyway, he says, "You two could be great players if you two were super fit." We were like,
already got a test jersey. What are you on about?
But by the end of the season, he understood where we were coming from. That's just the way we are.
Yep.
And but he always kept pushing us. He'd even turn up on my doorstep and say, "Come on, we're going for a run." I'm like, "Hey, what about everybody else?"
So, were you the player that needed a bit of an arm around you at times if things were going bad, or were you the player that needed a good tongue lashing from the coach?
Yeah, probably a little bit of a tongue lash from the coach, like, pick it up.
Yep.
But I always used to get that from my dad.
Yeah, the coach number 2. Yeah. Probably coach number 1.
Coach number 1.
Always is in the Samoan families.
If my game was televised, I'd get that phone call. Why were you walking around at the back there? I was like, So, I knew I had to pull my finger out and carry on training hard.
Yep.
So...
it seems to serve you well. A decade in the Super League.
Yeah.
5 test caps. I mean, not everyone can say that. Samoa, USA... you've done a bit of boxing in your time as well.
I did.
Right, tell us about your boxing.
As kids, we all love to have a fight and all this and that, and my dad pushed us into it to be able to look after ourselves. And then from then, I went to Golden Gloves, and I won the Golden Gloves when I was like 13, 15, something around that age. And then I ended up going for the New Zealand Champs.
Right.
And I think I went there in, I can't remember, 85?
Wow.
84, around that time.
Right.
And went for the intermediate, but there was a senior up there and he was on his own. And my coach says, "How about it?" And I thought, "What did you say there?" And anyway, cut a long story short, I said yes.
Yeah.
We'll just go with it. And at the time, I didn't know who it was. And when I went in the ring, I went like this. I thought, okay, I'm fighting a man. Anyway, it was only Jimmy Piao.
Only.
Later to be Jimmy Thunder.
Wow.
I felt his thunder, all right.
That's insane.
So I ended up jumping in, danced around a few rounds. He caught me a couple of times and the referee just called it. He knew I was just not right for it. Not ready. So, that was my career in that boxing.
Wow.
So, but at least I got to say, hey, had a few rounds with Jimmy.
That is unbelievable. Not everyone gets to say that.
No.
Oh, you've got a lot of not everyone gets to says about your life and career. I think that's amazing. So you didn't win any trophies in the Super League?
No.
But what's the one trophy you did bring home?
I brought my wife home.
Yes. Lovely wife. Jeanette Faimalo.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolute Wonder Woman she is too. Definitely the better half.
Definitely the better half.
Yeah, keeps you in line.
Yeah,
that's the one. Yeah, she's a good lady. So how did you meet your wife?
It's a funny story. I finished playing and I wasn't doing a lot. So I thought I'd go run down and have a game of touch with one of the boys, and went down and I says, anybody need a player? And he says, go jump in that team. So it's the first time I met her, and I says, I hear you're short. She went, yeah, just jump on. So I went on and, I was mucking about, doing the old flick passes, as you do. And one went to ground and all of a sudden I got this call. I was thinking, oh, what have I done? And it goes like that. We're here to win. I don't want none of that fancy stuff. And I was like, okay. So, from that day on, I thought, okay, So, that's how we first met.
Oh, it's brilliant.
And carried on from there.
And you guys actually played for England,
Yeah, so what happened was we went on to playing touch and playing in the team all the time. And she said to us, I wouldn't mind making the England team. And I went, oh, good on you. And then she went, no, I mean we. And I went, you mean we, play for England? And I says, I'm not playing for England. Yeah, I ended up playing for England.
Of course you did.
So I ended up trialling for England. And so we ended up playing in the World Club World Touch up in Scotland for the over 40s mixed.
That's brilliant. So now you can add USA, New Zealand, Samoa, and England to your nations represented.
Pretty much
in your career. That's pretty next level. Oh, that's so cool. Now, one more question about the rugby league. Who was your favourite player to watch? I mean, there must be a few.
Oh, one that always comes to mind when I was younger was Olsen.
Olsen Filipino.
Yeah. When I watched him, the first time I seen him bump someone off, I thought, whoa, I can do that.
Yeah.
I'm going to try that. And and you put it to your game, and you're thinking, yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like, he's the first person I actually seen bump people off.
Yep.
And from that day on, I thought, no, and that's what I want to do, and that's why when I play on the forwards, I think, that's my goal, to run over people.
So you enjoyed the contact of rugby league.
Love the contact.
It's so interesting because for me growing up, I hated the contact. It just hurt. I was 72 kgs, absolutely like tiny. And I got cut in half, man. I got cut in half growing up.
I still love the contact now. We're having a run. But, I had a run in the Masters and that. And now that I'm red shorts or getting to gold shorts. And you got to stick to the rules in those games. So I'm like, nah, forget that.
Oh, that's fantastic. Okay, couple of fun questions to finish off. What is your favourite TV show?
TV show? Easy. Neighbours.
That is unbelievable. I'm not going to delve into that. Okay, last question. If you were on death row, what would your last meal be?
It'd have to be a roast lamb.
Oh, you're the man.
All day.
That's a fantastic choice. Well, thank you so much for your time.
Not a problem.
Esene. It's been absolutely amazing diving into your career. I really appreciate it. So thanks for watching, guys, on the Point of Difference Rugby League podcast. This has been Esene Faimalo, Kiwi, Samoan, USA, and Super League great. And I've been your host, Dave, and we'll catch you for kickoff on the next show.
Thank you.
Full time.